Hey everybody, Jeremy here from Nobot Studios. Welcome to another GRIT Galaxies project update. It has been a really long time since I've made one of these videos, at least a couple months. So I'm back at it. I just wanted to keep you guys informed on what's going on. I am still working on this project. I am making progress. It has not been as quick as I would like, but I feel like when I look back in the last couple months, progress has been made. But just to kind of let you know what's going on outside of my design, writing, illustrating life here with this project, I've been just really busy with work, long hours, which hasn't led a lot of time for energy to work on this thing during the week at least. So I've been kind of a weekend warrior. I think I mentioned that maybe in my last video. But that's just kind of how things have been working out. I have been able to get together with my friends Ryan and Ben and getting in some game nights. We try to make it once a week, but sometimes we skip a week or so, depending on busyness of everyone in the group. But I have been able to get some playtesting in for GRIT Galaxies. And at the moment, I'm at 20 sessions completed. And when I was first starting this project, my kind of goal was to do 20 to 30 sessions as for the playtesting. So I am kind of at that threshold of being sort of mostly done with the playtesting. I know there's still more I want to do, but it's starting to feel like I don't need to do much more. It's pretty solid as it is. But yeah, it's been going well. I've also been able to, in these sessions, being able to play other systems, which has been great. Kind of good to mix it up. As far as the art is concerned, I have been dealing with serious creative block. That has been partially because of my busy work schedule and just feeling tired. Another part of it is just feeling overwhelmed with the sheer amount of work that I needed to do for this project, which was just a lot. So, and when you have a huge pile of things to do, it seems like it's maybe harder to get into just beginning with it. Even though I did do a lot of work with mock-ups and things, getting that ready, it still felt like, yeah, I got some mock-ups done, but I need to do all the final illustrations for this. And that's just, we're looking at 3 to 10 hours each illustration. So, yeah, that's a lot. I have also pulled, in the last 2 months, I pulled GRIT Galaxies from the editing to revise it once again. So I have been just doing this other revision, which has become a domino effect. This is nothing new to me. You start on one thing and you have to fix a bunch of other things. One thing leads to another, and sooner than you think, basically doing a huge revision. So I've been kind of plugging away at that. So that has been taking up some time. I have kind of made a rule for myself, or a goal basically, in the last week, to try to get 1 page of revision done per day. So even though I'm tired, I'm trying to, revise at least 1 page per day. And it's been working out. I only missed 1 day this week, so I'm going to probably make that up today. But it has been easier to kind of take one little chunk at a time instead of looking at the whole thing and being just completely overwhelmed. So, and another thing I've been doing is kind of fiddling with some new designs. Nothing really has come to complete fruition with that, but just know that I am thinking of other stuff too. And I think sometimes that there's kind of a twofold thing going on there. One of them is kind of being distracted, like being overwhelmed with what I have to do with Galaxies and being distracted. Another thing is that I want to explore some new ideas. So kind of a mixed bag there with my project, but that's what's been going on. So let's talk about the work that I've been doing. So again, I've been in revision mode again. Now, looking back at what I did with Grit Fantasy, this is not really anything surprising. I did multiple levels, layers of revisions. Just that I have been doing this all on my own without Ryan being involved in the editing. So I think, once again, this is going to make his job so much easier because I'm already doing all these revisions beforehand. So I think it'll make everything just so much more smooth. And it's just streamlining things down and getting things like more polished, so that when it hits editing, it will be just so much better. So one thing I did that kind of caused this revision is that I was brainstorming a way to get out of this block that I'm in about the art, and I went back and forth a lot with it, and what I realized was there's just too many illustrations. Too many for one little book. I had 150 plus that I needed to do, and that was just so much that I wasn't making any progress at all. And a lot of that was because of the loot. So I went through the book and picked out sections that I can trim out, like with the focus of trimming out art. And the big one was loot, because I had 12 D12 tables. Each of those took a page, like basically a half page, and I was going to put artwork, multiple items of loot items on each page. That was 50 illustrations or more that I was going to do just in that section alone. So that was an utterly ridiculous amount of work for what it is. I don't think it was going to add a ton of value. I mean, if I was going to do 50 illustrations, maybe monsters would have been a better choice. I mean, loot is cool, but is it going to draw you in more to have all that, illustrated? So anyway, I decided to trim back, once again, the loot section. So now there are 12 D8 tables. That cut 6 pages out of the book. So I was able to put 2 D8 tables per page. So it's only 3 spreads. There are 96 items in the loot section now, which is still a lot. And that reduced 50 illustrations right there. So that's a big one. And then I went through a couple other sections. The monster section, I kind of streamlined one monster that was taking up 3 pages, turned that into 1 page. So that cut a few, 2 illustrations out, cut out 2 pages. The beginning of the book section, I streamlined that. That's a kind of a no-brainer. And then in the monster section, under the scum lineages, I reduced that by 2 pages as well. So overall, I was able to cut out 12 pages out of the book, and now I only have 82 illustrations to do. So that is a huge reduction, and it's still going to be packed with art. The book page count now is 128, which is actually, it's 10 pages less than Grit Fantasy. But because of the streamlined layout that I have, it's actually there's more stuff in Grit Galaxies than there is Grit Fantasy. And the page count is lower. So I'm happy about how the layout worked out. It's more roomy, it's cleaner. it's less clunky, and it just gets down to business. And so even though this process has been kind of painful, it's not of any surprise, but I feel like I've just honed it that much more. And the loot, I have taken so many items out, and it really forced me to pick the best ones. So I feel like the loot section just got better. There's less clutter in there. And there's one section that I'm still really working on, and that is the unique items for the characters. And what this shift in the loot section has done has allowed me to pull out some interesting items and maybe potentially put them into the unique items section. So that just gave me more ideas to work with to kind of like finish it up. I have been struggling with the unique items, and I want to make it really, really balanced and give you a lot of options for different types of characters and stuff. So it's really taking a lot of time, because that's a really critical page in the book. So I'm still working on that. That's like one of the major things that I need to do. The other major page would be the scum section, and that is just giving you instructions on how to make scum characters if the GM wanted to run a scum game where the characters are bad guys. That's about a half page of stuff. So I'm not too terribly concerned about it. It's just organizing and writing it. So I probably have another 10 pages left to do, just small tweaks here and there. I've got, I use a system with color, so I've got some red here and there on those pages, and that's what I'm working on every day, doing one page of that, which could be just a paragraph. Still takes me a lot of time to do that because I'm very careful about how things are written. So I'm making progress. I hope to get this done in the editing process in the next couple weeks, hopefully. If it was a week, it would be awesome. And I know I'm way behind schedule where I wanted to be. I wanted to be done with this book by the end of October, and I don't think that is going to happen because I have 82 illustrations to do. Now, that's a lot more manageable, and I do still have a lot of mock-ups. And it's nice to have all those loot items that I've had illustrated or mocked up, because I'm going to have like the unique items that need just like a spread of a bunch of items, and also the loot item intro page is going to require that as well. So I'm going to have a lot to use, so I'm not going to have to scramble for that, which is nice. I have maybe 3 or 4 monsters to illustrate mock-ups for, and that will be done. So I have a lot already kind of started, but I just need to start on the actual final product illustrations for it. So as soon as it goes to editing, I am going to start hammering out the art, and I'll probably make some kind of similar goal where, I want to get at least one drawing done every other day or something. I don't know what that will be, but I'll have to find some kind of, timeline for me to get this done. I feel that setting these small little goals that I can do in short amounts of time really helps a lot. So it helps to not be overwhelmed. So that's where I am with everything with the project. And just wanted to maybe add a little thing about my thoughts on the process and kind of what I'm going through with it, and just some ideas, thoughts, because this whole process has sort of maybe changed my perspective, or my perspective has been evolving. I feel my interests are changing both as a player and as a GM in RPG games. Grit is a great system. I am very proud of it. And I will continue to, produce things for it and to support it. But my tastes are changing to way more minimal narrative types systems. That's just where my heart is going. And so I feel like I'm going to start developing stuff that's not grit. And I think this process is worked out that way in a positive way. It's kind of pointed me in a direction. Like, I feel like grit fantasy is my D&D thing, like my move away from D&D and what I wanted D&D to be. But I think I've played so much, and with all the play testing and just focus on this design and writing and illustrating and stuff, I feel like I need something else, as far as what I want out of the hobby. Part of that is that I've been helping Ryan playtest his game Limitless, and I did some illustration work for that too, which is a little break from what I was doing with GRIT Galaxies. And that and we have been playing some other systems that are a little more minimal, so it's been just an eye-opener to think about the future and what I want to do as a designer. And I feel like as a designer, you need to keep evolving. You need to keep moving. It's good to stay in one place and develop one thing and just like build on it. And I do plan on, like I said, continuing with grit stuff, but I think my future is going to get more and more minimal in the design work. So there will be some new things out there that I'm working on and testing. And anything that I work on now after this GRIT Galaxies is going to be smaller scale. It just has to be. I think I rushed into GRIT Galaxies because I was excited by Grit Fantasy, and I was really excited to do a sci-fi version, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out, but it's a very ambitious project, and I don't have as much time and focus and energy for like really massive long-term projects. So I need to get into smaller projects that I can finish in a shorter amount of time. And I feel like Grit Fantasy I think I would have done better by chilling out a little bit and doing some small kind of, add-on stuff for Grit Fantasy for a little bit. Of course, I was a little bit burned out by fantasy. I still am burned out by fantasy, but I think having little supplemental things may have been better to keep people more interested in what I was doing, because I feel like there's been a drop-off in interaction and stuff with it, and I have definitely seen a change in people purchasing the game and interaction on YouTube. Of course, I haven't been producing a lot of stuff on YouTube, but even the Discord channel is just kind of not much going on with it, so it feels like it's a little bit in limbo, and I'm not sure if anyone is even playing it. So I feel like smaller stuff could have like maybe held some more interest in it. I was hoping for also some more third-party stuff, but I just had Wingus, who put out an awesome one, and Ryan put out The Stillness. That was nice to see, and but I was maybe hoping for more being produced, but I mean, I can't expect anything, right? But anyway, whatever I do next will be smaller, and I'm really inspired by Ryan's zine style, which is like 12 to 15 pages. I'm like, wow, after doing 130 pages, 15 pages sounds awesome. And maybe even less than that would be great, So that is what's coming. I can't guarantee any timeline or anything for that. I'm going to continue plugging away at Galaxies, and I'm going to finish this thing. It will be a product, and I do think it's the best version of Grit. So we'll see. We'll see what happens after that, and maybe during that, maybe as I'm working on illustrations, I will start plugging away at some designs, and I might even work on some single page designs. Like I'm intrigued by that. I'm intrigued by the minimalism of that, and the design and layout kind of aspect of that, making something just one page look cool and stuff. And I think I just want to do some illustration, like just plain up or straight up illustration stuff. So I don't know what that will be. Probably not token sets, but some kind of project that will be more illustration focused, because that is where my heart is really. So anywho, that is everything that I kind of wanted to say and let you know about. And thanks for listening in, and keep an eye out for another one of these. I can't guarantee when it'll be, but hopefully when I get this thing into editing and we get some illustration work going on it, there'll be more to talk about. So anyway, take it easy, happy gaming, and until next time, keep rolling those dice.